Yo, what up, world? 502 King Paul. So it's been about 7.5 months now at this point since I stopped smoking weed again. The first time that I stopped smoking weed was last year, and actually it lasted for about 3 months or so, and then I had a relapse, which I did make a video about that previously. When I relapsed, man, I just felt so horrible. I'm like, man, here you are. You've went longer than you've went in years without smoking weed. You're making videos about how you stopped smoking weed, encouraging others to stop smoking weed, and here you are relapsing. So I really beat myself up a lot about that. But I do not encourage you to do the same thing. If you are to have a relapse, if you stop smoking weed and you relapse, man, just pick yourself back up, get back on the horse, keep on riding, man. It happens. It truly does happen. But since I stopped again, it's been 7.5 months, coming up on 8 months here now. And this video is about, do I still have the urge to smoke weed? And I want to be completely honest, transparent with you in this video, and just tell you it's a yes and a no. And I'm going to explain why I say yes after I tell you why I do not miss it, because the yes is not necessarily what you would think. I don't miss weed because when I look back, man, I'm removed from it enough to where I don't have the physical urge to smoke weed. But I'm not so far removed to where I don't recall all of the things I was going through when I was heavily using. I mean, just the lack of enthusiasm about life in general, just, not following through on any goals, plans that I had. I would come up with all these plans. I always had all these thoughts and ideas and things that just would never come to fruition because, I would think about it, I get high and, get real creative and somewhat. And, I would just never follow through on my plans, man. I would always come up with these things that I wanted to do that I did not do, just because I would get high. It was very hard for me to get on my fitness journey, to really get inside the gym, because I would smoke and I would become unmotivated, or I would smoke and then I would go to the gym and I would pretty much half-ass and just do a little bit. And whereas now I push my body to the absolute max every time that I go to the gym. Just even getting up off the couch and getting out of the house sometimes was a hassle. Going to family events was a hassle. My thought process in general, just like how I would handle certain situations. Like, for example, there could be some kind of conflict that came up, or a really big decision that came up that I had to make. And I didn't know while I was smoking weed, I didn't know if I was making this decision because I was high and I wasn't thinking it through well enough, or because I was high and I was overthinking it, so I made the wrong decision, or didn't step out on faith like I should. I didn't know, even if I wasn't high, I just didn't know if it was because I was irritated or pissed off because I hadn't smoked that I was making a rash decision. There's some arguments, altercations that I've gotten in during the time that I was smoking. And, when I look back at it, it was like, man, you were just pissed off because you had not smoked yet. You were irritated because you had not smoked that entire day. And then this issue, situation, or conflict, or a hard decision came up, and you were just pissed off. You weren't thinking in your right mind and able to make a sound decision. So, when I look back, in just so many situations I would put myself in when I was high, people I would hang out with, just bad choices I would make, I wouldn't think all the way through, or, I would overthink certain things and just not do it. It was so much that smoking just did not benefit me whatsoever, man. It just did not benefit my life. I look at how much money I've saved since I've stopped smoking, the things I'm able to buy now, the things I'm able to invest in, like my financial future. Since I stopped smoking, I really started building my credit, I've gotten a credit card, started building up my credit, learning how to utilize that the right way, using a lot of discipline in my finances, not only when it came to buying weed, but when it came to buying, groceries, as opposed to eating out all the time, because I'm cooking more. I'm not as lazy. I don't, feel like, oh, I need to run to a restaurant. No, I'll sit there and I'll take the time to cook and do what I do. There's so many ways it's changed my life. Like I said, I'm able to go around family members and I don't feel so, it's like the black sheep, because I know that I'm high and that they don't like for me to be high. Just so many different things when I think about it, man. I'm just like, it was so worth it for me to stop. Now, those are the reasons why I don't miss weed, but like I told you, there's also a yes side to it as well. And the yes being that I don't physically have the urge to smoke anymore, because once again, I just look back on all those things that have changed in my life, and I don't want to go backwards. Like, I've made it this far, and I've had a new routine that I've created in my life to where I've just physically don't have that urge to do it anymore. However, there are a lot of people around me that still smoke. A lot of people around me that still smoke. And even if I wasn't around those people, honestly, man, like we know, there are far more people that smoke weed in the world than a lot of people would think. I'm out at the car wash, I smell weed. I'm out at the park, I smell weed. In traffic, I smell weed. And man, sometimes just depending on the setting or whatever, it can kind of get on my nerves, especially like, if it gets inside of my car or something like that. If somebody's in traffic, I got my windows down and their weed smoke's getting into my car. Stuff like that does annoy me, but I still like the aroma of weed. I'll be honest. Like, I don't sit there and get secondhand highs, try to get contact or anything like that, but I still do like the aroma of weed. I'm not sure why that is. I remember watching an interview where Cam Newton, he was on $1 Million Worth of Game, this podcast, and he was saying how he has a diffuser in his house that lets off a weed smell. It doesn't get him high or anything like that, but he believes in aromatherapy, and he just enjoys the smell, the aroma of marijuana. Now, for whatever reason, I still have that. Like, I don't mind being around it typically. Like, if I'm hanging out with some of my fellows that may smoke, if I'm hanging out around family or something and they smoke, I really don't mind the odor of it. But I don't have the urge, even still, to get the blunt. Like, there has been times, like I've been around family at a family event, not the big family events, because far and wide, I don't want you to think that my family accepts it. They really don't. But there are people in every family, Thanksgiving, you may have that crowd of family members that they all get together and they sneak off from the family events or Christmas or whatever the holiday is. And then they go off and disappear and they all go smoke. I was once inside that crowd, so I understand that. But I have those family members, and when I'm around them, they may offer, if they don't know that I don't smoke anymore, they'll offer me weed, and I never take it. Like, I never take it. I'm like, nah, I'm good. You don't smoke no more? Nah, I'm good, man. I stopped smoking. I've been stopped smoking for, however long. At that time, I tell them, nah, it's been a couple months. It's been 4 or 5 months. It's been 6, 7 months, 8 months, whatever. I'll tell them that I have not been smoking. So they respect it. You'd be surprised, man. A lot of times you think that someone will judge you because you don't smoke anymore, that they may feel judged or they may look at you kind of strange. But I really, far and wide, have received positive feedback, even from those who smoke every day. They smoke consistently, heavy smokers. They still give me positive feedback like, man, that's good. And that just goes to let you know that there are a lot of people that do smoke weed where they truly want to stop. I know way more people that smoke weed that want to stop smoking than those that don't want to stop smoking. And even some of those people, man, they may say, no, I'm going to smoke forever, but they don't really want that for themselves. I'm going to be completely honest, man. From the people who I've talked to, the people I've interacted with, even online, through my inbox and stuff like that, man, I've had some people say, look, I'm still smoking right now, but I do want to stop. I'm still smoking right now, but I do want to start taking breaks. I do want to slow down. I see how it's affecting my life. I see how it's affecting my finances, my relationships, my mental, my spiritual, just everything. And so there are a lot of people that do truly want to stop. And I'm just putting out this video because I know that some people, in the midst of you stopping, man, you're going to have those moments where you may want to smoke. like I said, I had my relapse moment where I did start back smoking again. I felt horrible, but I got back on the horse and I said, no, man, I got to keep going with this. I got to keep going. There's so much I can lose. And who wants to look back on their life? This is always how I think anyways. I don't never want to look back on my life and say, you know, what if I did this? What if I did this? What if I did this differently? You know, what would happen if I just kept on smoking my whole life, and then I get to, like, you know, 60, 70, I'm like, man, dude, you wasted a lot of years of your life. You wasted a lot of time in your life where, you know, you could have been putting all this money towards something else. You could have been putting all this energy towards something else. You're blocking out so many different opportunities. For me personally, like I said, I'm not trying to attack anybody who does smoke weed, because I smoked for such a long time. I know how it is. There was so long that I went on and on and on. Like, I thought, honestly, that I could stop. When I first started, I thought I could stop whenever. I really did. But, you know, over time, it just got harder and harder, and I would beat myself up, and I'm like, man, like, you really need to stop. Like, especially at certain points in my life where my finances wasn't right. I'm like, if nothing else, you don't even have the money to keep sustaining this habit. So you have to stop. But even then, I would still find a way. You know, you find a way when you're into weed like that. You'll start hanging out with friends. You'll start going in on bags. They'll start matching you weed. Sometimes they'll smoke with you. You'll smoke with them. Just, you'll find any kind of way to get that money to smoke. And when I got to that point, man, that's when I really started having that change of heart and change of mind, where I'm like, man, I got to get away from this. You know, I have a whole separate video about why I stopped smoking weed, and it was for so many different reasons. But I can really tell you, honestly, that my finances have improved. My mind state has improved. My ability to just be out and really socialize with people has improved. My relationships have improved. My spirituality, my relationship with God has improved very much since I stopped smoking. And I'm not going to say that smoking just made me like a heathen or nothing like that. That's not what I'm saying. That's not the point. So hope nobody takes that way. But I can definitely say it was a block that I was putting in between myself and God when I was constantly smoking, because I truly believe that you should put nothing in this world above God. Now, I'm not here to tell you what religion to have or what to believe in, but I do believe that everybody should have a relationship with God. And, you know, whatever that relationship is for you, cool. But everyone should have a relationship with God. I know that was an area of my life where it was truly just putting a block in between us, man. And there were so many different things that were happening in my life to where I knew that I had to stop this. And then a lot of things I was going through, that was at the root of it. It was because I'm putting this thing above everything. I'm putting this thing above me praying. I'm putting this thing above, you know, me just doing what I know to be right. And putting this thing above doing the things I know that God wanted me to do in my life, man. So again, just to sum this up, answer that question, no, I don't physically have the urge to smoke weed anymore. Like, that's not something that I'm even interested in. But I do still enjoy the aroma. I don't sit there and try to get contact high, because that defeats the whole purpose. But I definitely will not go back to that lifestyle anymore. I've came too far. I've seen the other side, and it's nothing like, you know, sitting in coach and then crossing over to first class and be like, nah, man, I've been living my life in a way where, you know, I'm living beneath who I am. And I'm not saying that, you know, you're beneath anybody else if you smoke weed, you know, that's not the point. But I just know for myself, man, I got a much better standard of living once I decided to stop smoking weed and stuck with it. So that's all for this video, man. I just wanted to put that out there because I know there are some people that will face that battle, some people that will kind of teeter back and forth, some people that will relapse. And like I said, it's completely fine if you do relapse. Just get back on that horse, keep on going, and you will have success. You will see long-term success. You just have to build up those habits, know what you're doing it for, who you're doing it for. And, just stay focused, man. Stay focused on having a better life for yourself. It's 502 King Power, man. I love y'all. If y'all like anything about the video or anything